We are in the home stretch, everyone, and I thank you for sticking around. I thank you for eating and drinking and not throwing anything at me. So all day long, we've been talking to developers and talking about developers, and right now I've actually got some SDL members who are developers and are going to talk about some of the things that they've contributed to the SDLC. And they're each going to talk for a few minutes, and then I'm going to invite them up and we'll have a few question and answers here. So we've got Lonnie Arima from Magellan, and Mike Fodish from Electrobit, and Yuri Shvalek from Luxoft. And first up, I'm going to invite Lonnie to come up and have a little discussion about Magellan.
Thank you, Scott. Great. Hey, I'm not at liberty to talk about a few things today, so I apologize. I'm going to have to leave a few things out that are very specific as to what we're doing. But even despite that, what I'd like to do, and I just appreciate you all being here, is give you a quick update on what's going on with Magellan these days. Some very, very exciting things. So let me get started first with what we're doing in the fleet business. So as many of you may know, we actually started up a fleet business. It started out with an application called Return to Route. And you go, return to route, who would be interested in such an application? Well, what you find is a number of municipalities are very interested in it. And probably you as a customer or someone who lived in one of the areas where the snowplows were going through, you'd want to make sure that snowplow was actually doing your street and not missing your block as it goes along. But what happens with a number of these vehicles as they're going is something will get them so that they actually go off the route. And what our application does, it gets them back on the route, so you don't have blocks where suddenly, again, the roads are cleared except for this one block. We make sure that actually all gets done. So we're doing that, as well as we've developed another solution that enables us to help drivers of trucks to make sure that they're registered as to how much time they're actually putting into logging into driving their trucks. That's called an ELD device. And the federal government has mandated that by the end of this year, all these truck drivers need to be doing that. So we've developed this application, and actually it's caught the interest of a very large company called Samsung Fleet, and so we're very honored that they've selected us to be part of their solutions partner for their fleet business. And so we're just very excited that's really launched our fleet business, and we're looking forward to that being a nice growth area for us in the future. Let me also just talk about what we've been doing with SDL a little bit, the part that I can talk about. I will say that, like probably many of you, we're trying to figure out what's next when it comes to connected cars or autonomous driving. So we've been doing actually a lot of research on this topic. And what's interesting as we interview prospective buyers or what they know about this topic or what they expect in the future, what we find is that there's a lot of confusion. If you say to somebody, what does connected driving mean? We get a lot of different interpretations of what's the definition. So what does come out, though, I think that's interesting, is kind of some of the basic tenets that we've talked about throughout the day today about SDL, and it actually gets to the emotional content, which has to do with safety. It has to do with minimizing distractions. It has to do with how does this all fit together so I can actually use it. So again, a lot of interest in the concept, but again, how do you actually bring that to the consumer? And I think that the second bullet up here where I talk about the OEM being in control of the brand and of the HMI and of the total experience is really relevant, not as a political statement to support SDL, but really from a user statement, because what we find is that the end consumer or the driver of the car is very interested in understanding how do you simplify all the stuff that's coming together. How do you really get it all organized? And at the end of the day, when they're voting with their dollars to figure out which car are they going to buy or which brand, at the end, even though they may be using their smartphones and they may be using some other devices, in the end, they hold the OEM accountable for the entire experience of that vehicle. No matter, even if somebody else has been contracted out for that, in the end, it's going to be the OEM who's going to be accountable. So for those reasons, Magellan is very much a supporter of SDL, and we very much appreciate, again, all the progress that the consortium has made. But I think as far as beyond navigation goes, I think it's something that's very interesting for us. We're a part, so we're called actually MyTech Digital Corporation. Our brand is Magellan, And our parent company is called MyTac International, multi-billion-dollar corporation that's global, does businesses all over the world, and has a very strong automotive component as well. And I think the thing that's interesting there is we're a tier 1 supplier, and so we specialize and we pride ourselves in the quality of the products that we come out with. But I think what's interesting is we get to see how business is going throughout the world. One area where I think the U.S., North America is trending a little bit behind, but where we can see where the trend is going, is with dash cameras, or video dash cameras, whatever you want to call them. But people want to see what's going on in front of them. They want to see what's going on around them as well. And if you go to Russia today, you find that DVRs are selling very, very well for actually reasons of anti-corruption. You know, will the policeman really report the accident the way that it really actually happened, et cetera, or people actually trying to collect insurance for different reasons other than the reality of what happened. So if you record that, it works well. Or again, the use case in America is perhaps like an Uber driver or a Lyft driver that just wants to make sure they know what's going on behind them in the passenger seat as far as that goes. So we see going forward in the future, we see a lot of opportunity with this, and we see incorporating and integrating this into SDL as we go forward. Anyways, that's it for me. I want to thank you very much, and I'm going to turn it back over now to Scott.